You search for ScrapFly, check the website, and at first glance it looks like an easy recommendation. A polished dashboard, impressive success rates, and plans starting at just $30 a month. It seems like exactly what you want for web scraping, but once you start running real scraping jobs, you quickly realize there is more to the pricing than the headline suggests. Those credits can disappear much faster than you expect, especially on protected websites, and that can make a huge difference to what you are actually paying per request. So is ScrapFly still worth it? In this video, I will break down how its pricing really works, what surprised me during testing, who it's actually a good fit for, and the best alternatives if you are looking for better value. Watch this video till the end. I will show you a clean scraping setup for ScrapFly alternatives, how to keep your IP and fingerprints clean so you don't get blocked mid-job, and how to get 2 gig of free proxy so you can start extracting data with way less risk. Before we go any further, here is a quick explanation if you are new to web scraping. It's simply the process of using software to automatically visit web pages and extract information, whether that's prices, product listing, business details, or other publicly available data. Instead of copying everything by hand, the software does the work for you. Of course, just because data is public doesn't mean there are no rules. Always respect a website's terms of service, avoid collecting personal information without a legal basis, and don't overload servers with aggressive scraping. Most professional scraping tools, including ScrapFly, are built with these best practices in mind. So what exactly is ScrapFly? At its core, it's a scraping API. Instead of managing proxies, solving captchas, or worrying about JavaScript-heavy websites yourself, you send your request to ScrapFly and it handles those challenges behind the scenes before returning the data you asked for. To its credit, ScrapFly gets a lot right. It offers scraper templates for dozens of popular websites, integrates with automation tools like Zapier and Make, includes a screenshot API, and provides well-documented SDKs for Python, TypeScript, and Scrapy. If you are building scraping workflows, those features can save a lot of development time, but features only tell part of the story. Once you start using the service, and especially once you start paying for it, some trade-offs become much more obvious. That's where things get interesting. The biggest surprise is the credit system. ScrapFly's discovery plan includes 200,000 credits, which sounds generous at first, but when you are scraping websites with anti-bot protection, which is common for many real-world targets, you will often enable the ASP equals to true parameter. According to ScrapFly's pricing, that can increase the cost of a request by up to 30 times. Run the numbers. If every request used the full 30 times multiplier, 200,000 credits works out to roughly 6,600 requests. That's a very different picture from simply seeing 200,000 credits on the pricing page. The second issue is onboarding. Unlike many competing scraping APIs, ScrapFly requires SMS phone verification before you can start testing. I have also seen community discussion from users who reported verification or account suspension issues. Although experiences appear to vary, none of this makes ScrapFly a bad product. It has a solid feature set, but if predictable cost and frictionless sign-up process matter to you, these are valid reasons to compare alternatives. ScrapFly offers strong features, but its credit model and mandatory SMS verification are two important trade-offs to consider. Now let's look at the alternatives. So if you are considering other options, here are 4 of the strongest alternatives, along with benchmark data to help you compare them. Scrape.do stands out for value. In independent benchmarks, it achieved a 98.61% success rate with a 5.5 second average response time, while costing roughly $0.60 per 1,000 requests. It also has a freemium plan, doesn't require SMS verification, and its pricing is much easier to estimate. If your priority is getting past anti-bot systems, ZenRows is one of the stronger options. It combines solid documentation with a robust anti-bot bypass layer. In independent benchmarks, it achieved a 96.29% success rate with a 6.7 second average response time. Plans start at $69 a month, working out to roughly $3.32 per 1,000 requests. ScrapingBee is a good choice if you mainly work with Python. thanks to its clean developer experience and reasonable pricing. It starts at $49 a month or about $1.77 per 1,000 requests. In testing, it reached a 96.62% success rate, although its 13.7-second average response time makes it noticeably slower on heavier pages. Apify makes a different approach. Instead of offering a generic scraping API, it provides a pre-built actors, ready-made scrapers for specific websites that have already been tested by the community. If you rather configure an existing scraper than build one from scratch, that's a big advantage. It achieved a 97.14% success rate with a 14.2-second average response time, and pricing works out to around $5.48 per 1,000 requests at the upper end with a freemium plan available. One important note: these numbers come from benchmarks across sites like Amazon, Indeed, GitHub, and Zillow. Your real-world results depend heavily on which sites you are targeting. Always model your actual expected cost before committing to any plan. Here is something that surprises a lot of people. Even if you choose the best scraping API on the list, there are situations where an API alone isn't enough. Some websites require you to be logged in, others analyze browser behavior, not just your IP address, and some expect requests to look exactly like they are coming from a real browser running on a real device. That's where browser fingerprinting comes in. Think of it as your browser's digital ID. It includes signals like your installed font, screen resolution, graphics capability, time zone, and dozens of other characteristics. Modern anti-bot systems evaluate these signals alongside your IP address to decide whether a request looks legitimate. For simple public websites, a scraping API is often all you need. But for more heavily protected targets, many developers pair their scraping setup with an anti-detect browser. An anti-detect browser lets you manage your browser fingerprints so each session looks more like it comes from a real user on a real device. And that's where GoLogin comes in. Alright, let me show you exactly how I set this up in GoLogin. An anti-detect browser is a browser that's been modified so you can control what ID card it shows to websites. Instead of your real canvas rendering, your real font, your real screen resolution, it shows a custom realistic looking combination that you define. It also lets you run multiple completely isolated profiles, so each scraping session has its own fingerprint, its own cookies, its own browsing history, and its own proxy connection. To the site, it looks like many different people visiting, not only automated scripts. GoLogin does all of this, and the specific thing that makes it useful for beginners is that when you paste in a proxy, GoLogin automatically matches the time zone, language, and other browser settings to that proxy's location. You don't have to configure those manually. It reads the proxy IP and fills everything in. One less thing to mess up. Open GoLogin. After you sign in, you will land on the profiles screen. Click the green Create Profile button in the top right corner. A panel will open. You will see a field called Profile Name at the top. Type anything you want here, like Scraping Test 1. Below that, look for the Proxy section. You'll see where to set up a proxy for this browser profile. There are three types: GoLogin proxy, your proxy, and without proxy. Click on your proxy, then scroll down and enter your proxy credentials. When you buy a proxy, your proxy provider will give you the IP address, port, username, and password. Enter them in their appropriate fields. Here is the part beginners worry about: all those time zone, language, and fingerprint settings on the right. Don't touch them. GoLogin reads your proxy's IP address and autofills everything to match. The time zone, the language, the geolocation, all matched automatically. That's the whole point. Click Create Profile at the bottom of the page. Now you are back to the profiles list. You will see your new profile listed with a browser icon. Click the green Run button on the right side of that row, then click View. A browser window will open. It looks like a normal Chrome browser, but it's your isolated GoLogin profile. In the browser window that just opened, type iphay.com into the address bar and press Enter. iphay.com is a free tool that checks many of the same signals websites use to identify bots. Think of it as a preview of what a website sees when your browser connects. Give it a few seconds to load. You want to see a green trustworthy status with green check marks across the key text. Here is what they mean. IP reputation checks whether your IP looks like it belongs to a real user or a known proxy or data center. WebRTC makes sure your real IP isn't leaking through your browser. You want to see no leak. Time zone match confirms your browser's time zone matches the location of your proxy IP. Language match checks whether your browser language is consistent with your proxy's location. Fingerprint consistency verifies that all of your browser signals form a realistic, believable device fingerprint. If everything is green, you are ready to go. If WebRTC, time zone, or fingerprint consistency shows red, go back to GoLogin, open your profile, click the three dot menu, choose Edit, then click Regenerate Fingerprint near the bottom. Save the profile, launch it again, and rerun the test until everything passes. Here is a common scenario. An e-commerce researcher is scraping competitor prices across a major retail market. Halfway through a 10,000 product job, the scraper is still getting responses, but the prices and product titles are suddenly missing. That's a classic soft block. Instead of blocking the request outright, the website serves incomplete or misleading data. A quick check with IP hit before starting could have exposed configuration issues, and a properly configured browser profile with residential proxies would have reduced the chances of triggering those anti-bot defenses. Let's clear up 3 common misconceptions. A scraping API handles everything, so I don't need to worry about my browser fingerprint. A scraping API helps with IP rotation and network level anti-bot detection, but if you are using Selenium, Playwright, or another browser automation tool, your browser fingerprint is a separate factor. That's where an anti-detect browser comes in. The highest success rate means it's the best tool. Benchmark results vary by website. A tool that performs well on Amazon or GitHub may not perform the same on your target site. Always test with a small sample before committing to a paid plan. More requests mean more data. Sending requests too aggressively often triggers rate limits, captures, or temporary blocks. In practice, slower and more natural request patterns usually collect more usable data over time. If you are doing a one-time scrape, like exporting a competitor's product catalog, a scraping API such as Scrape.do or ScrapingBee is usually all you need. Run the job, export the data, and you are done. If you are monitoring a site every day or every hour for price tracking, SERP monitoring, or inventory checks, your cost can add up quickly. That's where per request pricing becomes critical. A tool costs $0.60 per 1,000 requests versus $3.32 per 1,000 requests can mean roughly a 5 times difference in monthly cost at scale. If the site requires you to log in, a scraping API alone often isn't enough for browser-based sessions. You typically want one GoLogin profile per account paired with a sticky residential IP, so each login consistently appears to come from the same user and location. Here are 4 simple rules to remember. If the target site relies heavily on JavaScript, then use a real browser or a scraping API with JavaScript rendering enabled. Look for a parameter like JSRender equals true. If you are getting 429 too many request errors, then reduce your concurrency and randomize delays and rotate your IPs. If IPHate.com shows any red flags, then don't start scraping yet. Regenerate your GoLogin fingerprints, run the check again, and only continue once everything passes. If responses suddenly come back empty or product prices look suspiciously identical, then suspect a soft block. Switch to a different IP or residential proxy, slow your request rate, and test again with a fresh browser profile. Let's bring it all together. ScrapFly is a capable scraping API with plenty to like, but its credit model and mandatory SMS verification won't suit everyone. If those are deal breakers, Scrape.do stands out for value and transparent pricing. Apify is the strongest choice for pre-built scrapers, while ZenRows and ScrapingBee are solid alternatives depending on your budget and workflow. Whichever API you choose, your setup still matters. Pair it with a properly configured browser profile, a quality proxy when needed, and verify everything on IPA.com before launching large scraping jobs. A clean fingerprint, realistic request pacing, and the right proxy will do more for long-term scraping success than simply choosing the API with the highest benchmark score. If you want to replicate this scraping setup to get 40% off GoLogin and claim the 2 gig of free proxies, check the description and pinned comment. The link is right there below the video. Thanks for watching.